slowly and carefully. And remember, you've got to use at least 2 of the readings which are marked with that asterisk. So in terms of thinking about the assignment, really, I mean, keep these in mind. Go back to it. Reread this first part and what we're doing and where we're going, because these things are key. Now, this is that formal essay, so just like with essay 2, we are not using I, me, my, you, your, any of that. If it's in a quote, it's fine, but in terms of our writing, you don't have to say I. If you didn't say, somebody else said it. I know it's you. You know it's you. This is a bold, this is the way it is kind of writing. That you, who do you mean? Audiences, readers, advertisers, men, women, dragon, whatever. And then we are looking carefully at an advertisement and explaining what it reveals about contemporary culture. Could be value, goals, acceptable roles in society, stereotypes, all of these kinds of words that we will read through these readings. How do they do that? They do it through technique, and so that's going to be important too. Any print or video ad, you can choose multiple ads by the same company for the same product. And we're going to look at 2 samples today. One that just does a straight up, here, let me analyze this one ad, and then one that looks at Beamer's. Oh, Luisa's. One that looks at the burger, like 3 Burger King ads, okay? So it could be the same company, or it could be multiple ads on a similar theme. And so the example I give is from the slideshow from last week, like how the police are portrayed, that kind of stuff. You got to use quotes from at least 2 of the readings, so that's really important. As we do these readings, again, make notes. When you read something, you're like, yeah, I agree with that. Make a note on that, right? Copy it, paste it somewhere. Take a picture with your phone, whatever, a screenshot. Make sure you know where it came from. You read something, you're like, I don't think so. Make a note of that, okay? Make this easier for yourself. That's really what that is. That is all about making it easier for yourself. We're doing that APA documentation, so we'll be looking at this and studying this more as we go through the next couple of weeks. And, of course, we do the pre-writings. Blah, 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 blah. Down here at the bottom, when you get to the end, when we get to the end of this, we'll come back to these. There's these reminders. It's a big, huge list, but these are key things. You want to make sure you're doing those. And then, as always, what am I grading on? You want to make sure you're doing those too. So, questions about the assignment in general? Go back to it. Remember, when you're doing a complex essay, the assignment is always your friend. Now, you read the FOULs, and here's the thing. As we go through, the FOULs and the Introduction to Media Literacy, and one of the ones we're reading for next time, the Advertising Analysis. Well, I would put all of these in there, but especially these 3, Intro to Media Literacy, Advertising's 15 Basic Appeals, and Advertising Analysis. Really think of these as kind of the core readings, because when we think about, oh, how is something done, right? How is this message created? Or how is this saying this about this group? Or what is happening between these lines? One of the ways that happens, that how, which is what you've got to talk about in your paper. You got to identify this is saying something between those lines, but also how. And that how comes from these kinds of things, these techniques that people do. So what's nice is once you've read through this whole thing, then you can go back and use this very much like the reference it is, where he gives us kind of overall. But then if you're looking at an ad and you're like, oh, wow, you know, they're using one of these things, you go to it and you can just read that one section. Might quote from that one section. Hint, 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 right? That's how I do this paper. Same thing here, Introduction to Media Literacy, and it gives us, you know, some other things in the Antonio Lopez one, the Advertising Analysis one that we'll read next time. Same thing. But it gives us some of these basic things saying where you can look at this and say, you know, does this happen? Media constructs a fantasy world. Did I tell you about having students do journals when I was teaching at NMSU in Doñana? Oh my God, that's right, because we haven't gotten here yet, right? So what we know about writing is it's like exercise. The more you do it, the better you get at it. You get in shape. Your brain is a muscle, and you're in different parts. Your writing part, your mouth part, all of that. You get in shape with this. And so one of the things is if you just write consistently, you will get better at writing. That makes sense, right? You ride a bike consistently, you get better at bike riding. Same thing with mental stuff. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So one semester I decided, I'm going to have my students journal. And it was going to be just, points. It's a project. And I said, 3 times a week, I just want you writing for like 10 minutes. That's it. 10 minutes of your life, 3 times a week. You put the date on it, whatever. You want to write, I don't know what to write about. This is a stupid assignment. I don't care, whatever, right? The sun is shining today, or it was rainy today, and I don't like rainy days, or I do like rainy days, or green is my favorite color. I don't care. You end up writing about something personal and you really don't want me to read it. That's okay. Just fold it over, put the date on it. I'll respect it. So I picked them up, every so many weeks and just flip through them. Make sure you got everything in there. You're doing it consistently. But one of the things in flipping through them, I'm skimming in all of them. So this isn't just one class. This is all of them. This is at community college and this is at university. They consistently said, well, I have to study. I don't have time to party. College isn't like the movies. I mean, literally, like a lot of them wrote those words. College isn't like the movies. Dude, right? Wherever you go, there you are. It seems so obvious. But we get these expectations of what college should be, right? Expectations of what high school should be, of what our teenage years should be, or whatever these things are, that it should be like that. And when we don't match up to that, then we have choices, right? We can either say, wait, that's wrong, or we're wrong. A lot of times we say we're wrong. That's a big thing. So the media constructs fantasy worlds. Wow, that was long before I did this essay, and I saw it played out right there. This fantasy world that people had bought into. College isn't like the movies. I got some news for them about the rest of life. Shit ain't like the movies either, okay? This is a really boring movie. So, think about it in those ways, though. I mean, how can you see those kinds of things? And then this one also, gives us that example of text and subtext. So anytime we have a reference to something else, that is also, we're also bringing in the ideas there. In the pedestrian, perfect match. That Frank Sinatra song becomes, every song mentioned becomes a subtext. We look at it and say, look, is it saying something more through referencing this? How much can you tell about somebody with their music they like? I mean, do you think you could look at that and say, look, give me your 10 favorite songs, the songs that inspire you, that move you, that mean something to you, not just I like the sound of it, right? Of course, sometimes that's good too. That tells a lot, right? It says a lot, doesn't it? Those moments. So those are subtext. And then, of course, he also talks about the kind of basic appeals of that kind of thing, like the beautiful people, bribery, hey, did you notice the free gift? It's free. When you buy this, it's free. Walked by something the other day and they had you got a free bag if you bought this thing. And I was like, wow, I really like that bag. But I'm not I'm not clothes person, but like stuff to put things in. Oh my God, I love that. And I was like, ooh, sucker, Kelly. Right? It's easy to be sucked in. So what's nice is remember these in terms of as you're looking around and thinking about ads and what you're going to write about, these are the things you want to go back to. Because whenever we say they're saying something in between the lines, how do they do it? They do it through these techniques. So we're combining this idea of these techniques with the idea of something more there. And that's really key. And that will help you more than anything get those quotes and all that other stuff in, okay? So remember, these are key. Go back to them. Go back to them. They're your friends.